Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPen.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 23, we got a really good lineup for you. This might be one of the best lineups we've ever done. And it's the final show of the year just because it's the last UFC event of this year. So I really appreciate all you guys listening throughout the year. But first up, we're going to be joined by the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, one half of the main event to preview his fight against Geoff Neal. We kind of talked about this whole year. Hasn't fought since he beat Vicente Luque. And him thinking the UFC's trying to make him a gatekeeper. They thought they wanted Luque to win. He believes the UFC wants Geoff Neal to win. And he's not too happy being the gatekeeper. And we also touch on Leon Edwards, Hamza Chimaev, how his first ever call-out did not go his way. Then next up, we're joined by the other half of the main event, Geoff Neal, to preview his fight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Good. This is a massive step up for Geoff Neal. This is a guy I'm high on. A lot of people have been high on. People have been calling a future title challenger, future champion. Well, this is his fight. If he goes out there and beats Wonderboy Thompson, his first 5-round fight, there's no question he's becoming a number one contender, 1-2 wins away from a title shot. So this is a big fight for Geoff Neal. Then next up, we're joined by Marlon Cheeto Vera to preview his fight against Jose Aldo. This is such a good card. This is such a good fight. This was supposed to happen at 255. Then it was rumored 256. But I actually broke it that it was going to be December 19th. So really intriguing matchup for Cheeto Vera, coming off the win over Sean O'Malley. Jose Aldo, 3-fight losing streak. This could be do or die for his career. The UFC's talking about 60 cuts. We just saw Junior Dos Santos lose, and Dana White saying, hey, like he's on 4-fight losing streak. I would talk to him. Maybe the same thing happens to Jose Aldo if he loses that. You'd be 0-3 at bantamweight. You don't really know where he goes from here. But we just discussed this fight and what a win over Jose Aldo would mean for Marlon Vera, but a really good talk with him nonetheless. We're then joined by UFC bantamweight Rob Font to preview his fight against Marlon Moraes. This is a big fight for Rob Font. His first fight in just about a year, or over a year actually, coming back. Intriguing match against Marlon Moraes. This is a guy he did not expect to get, but when he got the offer for his return fight to be against Marlon Moraes, it was an immediate yes from Rob Font. Rob Font's a main training partner, Calvin Caters. We talked about how he's preparing for the end of December, and it's working good because Calvin's already in camp preparing for that Max Holloway, the first main event 2021. So good stuff from Rob Font. We're then joined by Khaos Williams to preview his fight against Michel Pereira. This has fight of the night written all over it. And we talk about how Khaos Williams was he surprised his opponent. A lot of people, after he knocked out Abdul Razak Al Hassan, a lot of people thought, hey, man, this is a guy that should get a ranked guy. But Michel Pereira has a really funky style. So we talk about turn around quickly and how to prepare for that, because he's going to be throwing front flips and somersaults at him. So it's definitely interesting to see how Khaos is going to react to that. But Khaos is expecting another finish, get a ranked guy to start the beginning of next year. And then we close out the show with Maycee Barber. Just to recap what this year's been like for her. Obviously, in January, fighting on the McGregor-Cerrone card, a big card, and she suffers her first career loss to Roxanne Modafferi. Also tears her knee in the process. So we talk about how that whole year, that loss, what she's really learned, and her upcoming fight against Alexa Grasso in February. This is a big fight for Maycee Barber. She cannot lose 2 in a row. If she's going to be a contender, she has to win this fight. I know she's still young, but this is a girl with a lot of potential, so it's a really good chat with Maycee. But hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to share, subscribe, and thank you all for listening, and have a good New Year. See you next. All right, we're joined by the NMF, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen, man, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Glad to be on with you, brother.
Yeah, big fight upcoming here. Now the main event. What was it like before you get into your full fight? But what was it like when you got the call? You're headlining another show.
I thought it was super cool. You know, anytime that I prepare for a fight, even if it's a 3-5 in round fights, I still train those championship rounds. You know, 5 in rounds just gives me more confidence. So I'm ready for it. It's great, man. I don't even know. I don't even know how many headliners I've had so far, but to have another one is just and against a really tough opponent as Geoff Neal, I'm excited. This is definitely got the fire lit in me for sure.
Yeah, and this is a big fight, but before you get into it, your first ever call out did not go your way. What are the call outs done for you?
Man, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just me doing it in a nice way. Maybe it just doesn't get them riled up, you know? I don't know. It really didn't. I poked at Leon Edwards a little bit on Twitter, and yeah, he comes back and tells me no and tells me to F off. And then it's funny because the MMA fans come back and like bash him because they're like, you don't be mean to Wonderboy. You can't be mean to NMF. It's funny, man. The MMA fans kind of had my back on that. But that said, that was the fight I was looking for, obviously, because he's ranked above me. But, you know, if you're in the UFC, I don't care who you are. If you're ranked at the bottom or at the very top, you're a dangerous guy. If you fight in the UFC, you're a dangerous guy. So, you know, I'm just excited to be a part. another main event against Geoff Neal, who is a monster. So I'm ready to get after it, man, to show the UFC and the fans that I'm still here.
I just quickly checked. This is your 7th UFC main event.
Oh, you just checked? Look at this guy over here. Own it, man. 7th. Wow, let's go.
And this is a sneak. Like, this is a not gonna lie. I was actually more looking forward to this fight than Edward Shmaev, just because I didn't think really Shmaev deserved that shot at number 3 guy. And Geoff Neal and both of you guys are. I don't think you can be in a boring fight. So stylistically, like, this is so similar to Vicente Luque, where Geoff Neal's that up and comer, that solid boxer. Like, you kind of view it's very similar as your last fight.
Say that again. Sorry.
Do you view this as very similar as your last fight, just because they're both up and coming? Like, the whole talk of the welterweight division is this is the next guy.
Yeah, this is definitely very similar. I mean, you know, Vicente Luque was coming off of a 7-fight win streak, and Geoff Neal's he's undefeated in the UFC on a 5-fight winning streak. He's been knocking dudes out. He finished, you know, Mike Perry, who's just a monster. So he's heavy-handed. He looks like a really strong welterweight. So, you know, it's very, very similar for sure. Obviously, my opponent's a little taller, got longer reach than Vicente Luque, but stylistically very similar as well. You know, I know Geoff Neal likes to throw that left high kick. He's got a left hand, and if he touches you with it, you're going out, man. He's been putting people to sleep with that, with his left hand. So that's something that I got to prepare for, and that's what I've been preparing for. I had Weidman in last night, getting some work in. We did 5-minute rounds with a big monster like him, wrestler, and the reason I brought him in was because you know, sometime out there, most people want to end up taking me down after a while, and so wherever the fight goes, I'm going to be prepared for it for sure.
Well, that's what I want to touch on. Everyone knows Geoff Neal's this straight boxer. Like, some people say he has some of the best boxing in the UFC, but no one ever really wants to strike you for 5 rounds. Are you expecting to shoot at some point?
Do I expect to shoot on him?
No. Do you think he's going to shoot on you? Because everyone shoots on you.
Yeah, that's what I am thinking with everybody that I prepare for. You know, that at some point in time they're going to be looking to shoot on me. So yeah, wherever the fight goes, like I said, at some point in time I'm ready for it. So if he wants to stand and bang it out, I'll do that. You know, but if he has that little thought of just, hey, I want to take this, I want to get him up against the fence. And I think that's how he has a chance, is for him to try and get me up against the fence, you know, try and pin me there, maybe go for a takedown here and there, but to keep me isolated. So I've definitely been working on my movement and my takedown defense and cage work. So yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm more than ready. And, you know, my last fight obviously was a year ago. It was more than a year ago. Ended up, you know, obviously facing Vicente Luque at Madison Square Garden, UFC 244. Ended up breaking both of my hands in that fight, which took a long time to heal up. So I'm just anxious to be back out there to do it again.
Yeah, what's this past year been like for you? Because I know it was the recovery with the hands, and then what was it? I think Weidman hurt your collarbone or your chin?
Yeah. He ended up hurting my collarbone. Obviously, the whole COVID thing kind of slowed me down there, you know, early spring, midsummer. There wasn't a whole lot going on until they started picking things back up. But yeah, it took forever for my hands to heal up for some reason. I don't know what it is. The older you get, the longer it takes to heal up, you know. And you don't get good circulation in your hands anyway, so I kind of understand. But it took me forever to make a fist. For the longest, this hand, the tendons and everything were kind of tight, and I couldn't bend that hand. So it took me forever to kind of stretch that ligament back out and be able to where I was able to make a fist. And then helping Weidman get ready for his fight, he ended up picking me up and dumping me on my head. And I ended up tearing the cartilage in my collarbone, which took a little while to heal up. But I'm 100% now. Cardio is on point. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. This is my longest layoff yet. I hate it. And
let's get into your fight. Obviously, this is Geoff Neal's first time going 5 rounds. You have no problem going 5 rounds. Is that part of the game plan where you think the longer the fight goes, you can have more success?
You know what? I'm really thinking, and I always prepare fights this way, that Geoff Neal is going to be prepared, right? And the best case scenario, I want to face the best Geoff Neal ever. So I think he's going to be ready for these 5-minute rounds. The guy comes in shape. He's a strong opponent. So for me and my psyche, I think he's ready for this. And that puts me, I don't like to take anything away from any fighter, right? Because I guess somewhere in your head, if you take something away, or if you think he's not prepared, you kind of ease up on your training. Their mindset's not there. So I'm not that kind of guy. I think he's going to be ready for a 5-5 in a round war, and that's what I'm prepared for.
You're a guy that you haven't gotten to finish in quite some time. I think Johnny Hendricks was the last one. Is there like a bit of pressure you put on yourself to get back and finish?
No, I never go out there looking for the knockout, to be honest. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And of course, if it does, it's a bonus for me. But, I never go out there really looking for it. It just happens. And, the more you work up the rankings, the more skilled your opponents are, the harder those knockouts can be. So, and that's the thing. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you haven't knocked anybody out in a while." I was like, "God, look at the guys I've been facing. These guys are on point," But it would be good to go out there and finish somebody like Geoff Neal. And, like I said, I'm not going out there looking for it. But if it's there, I'm going to take it.
What do you think a win over Geoff does for you? Because he obviously is lower in the rankings, but he's a guy that has a lot of hype. Like I've talked to like Michael Chiesa, who says this guy's like the dark horse. Like he's going to be a problem for everyone. Like, so what do you think a win over Geoff does for you?
I think it's going to be great. Do I think it's going to move me up the rankings? No, but it's going to put me in that light again. It's going to put me in everybody's eyes. The UFC's eyes. They say, hey, let's give this guy a top opponent next fight. And that's the goal.
Has it been frustrating for you where you're a perennial contender, but yet look at your last 3 fights? It's like 2 guys right below you, then Anthony Pettis, who wasn't even ranked all time. It seems like they're trying to push you down the rankings.
Thank you. Thank you for that. They're trying to make me the gatekeeper is what's happening. It's not going to happen. I fought, went 10 rounds with Tyron Woodley. And, those
I thought you won the first fight, too.
Thank you. And, beat George Masvidal, hands down, controversial loss to Till, and then ended up getting knocked out by Anthony Pettis. Of course, doesn't help, but it helps me, to be honest with you, because now I know what it feels like, and it's not that bad. I mean, getting knocked out really isn't that bad. I literally just woke up in the back and I was fine. But yeah, man, I feel like my last 2 opponents have been fairly, ranked fairly high, and I haven't fought anybody ahead of me. So, hopefully they're not trying to make me that gatekeeper, and I'm not a gatekeeper. I've still got fight left in me, and I want that title shot. Whoever it is in front of me, I'm gonna got to do my best and put on a good performance so that the UFC says, hey, let's give this guy a run. So I'm game.
And when that main event fell off because Edwards was out, was there any talk of you stepping in to fight Chimaev? Because I thought the UFC would try to jump on that to get another top-ranked guy to fight him, because they're all over him.
They are. You know what? I kind of called that one too. I was like, man, why are they pushing this guy who's had 1 fight in the welterweight division? He's ranked number 15 at this point. It's like, why are they pushing this guy? And I called, I was like, watch Khabib retire. And of course he did. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. You got to kind of pull to that Russian market, where he's from. Which is understandable. I mean, the UFC is a business, but yeah, there was really no push at this point. We already had that fight set, and Geoff Neal, he wanted this fight, so we're gonna see it through.
Has it been frustrating for you for the top of the welterweight division so like stagnant? It seems like none of them want to fight. Like Colby and Jorge keep saying, oh, they want the Usman rematch, so they're out. Edwards has been out since July last year. Usman and Burns are locked up, so it seems like you couldn't even fight ahead of you.
I know. I tried to get the Edwards fight, obviously. Yeah. He wasn't having it. But, yeah, I mean, it's like the only guys I can fight are the guys behind me. But at least I'm staying busy. At least I'm staying active. We'll try to get back into doing that anyway after I've been off for a year. But I'm just glad to get a fight, glad to get somebody. And I'm training as if I'm fighting for the welterweight title.
If you go and beat Geoff, like how far away do you think you are from title shots? I think then the UFC finally has to give you someone like ranked above you, and I would be surprised you get 1 more and you're right there for a title shot.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, and I think it really depends on how I go out there and how I perform for this fight. If I go out there and put on a good show, beat them, hands down, possibly, or even knockout, yes. So that's what I'm going to go out there and try and do. I'm really not upset with a loss. I'm more upset on how I perform. If I go out there and I give it my all, I'm happy, and the guy beats me at my best. But if I go out there and not put on 100% or a good performance on my part, that's when I'm disappointed.
And someone before Masvidal's last fight, he was saying he's interested in that rematch. Is that something that intrigues you just because he's obviously such a massive star now?
Oh, yeah, 100%. This guy is, and then he gives me inspiration. And I've said this before. I beat him, UFC 217. And now look at him. He's one of the most popular guys in the UFC. Fought for the title, fought Usman. He's ranked above me. So, yeah, I know he was interested in if he won the title to try and get that loss back. But for sure, anybody ahead of me, I'm game for.
I actually think that makes a lot of sense. You go out and beat Geoff Neal. I know they're talking about Colby Masvidal, but if that doesn't happen, I think you Masvidal too is such a big fight, and that could determine the next guy to fight the winner, Usman Burns.
Yes, we gotta push it. We gotta push that. We gotta push that, man. Let's get it out there.
And just a few more things is what's it like headlining this show? Like you look down this card, this is one of the best fight nights they've done. Like you're fighting. Like you versus Jeff is an incredible main event. You have like Jose Aldo fighting underneath you, like Marlon Moraes is underneath you. Like what's it like fighting for this card? Because this is one of the best cards.
I think it's super cool. Everybody's like, dude, how do you get on the sickest cards, man? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not talking to anybody. I just get on these cool cards. I think it's really cool, which actually makes me want to perform to my best ability because everybody that's underneath me are high level strikers, good strikers. I mean, Jose Aldo is one of the best. So I want to outperform everybody, as I step out there against Geoff Neal. And obviously that's easier said than done, but that is the plan. And I think it's exciting to be able to headline legendary. These guys are legends, man. Jose Aldo is a legend. Marlon Moraes is a monster. He's a legend. He's One Punch Man. That's who that guy is. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with One Punch Man, but he looks exactly like him. But yeah, it's definitely an honor for sure.
And with this fight against Geoff, like, is part of the thing, like, just because Roy Jones Jr. fought recently, is it part of like y'all must have forgot about you because no one seems to be talking to you? Go out there, put a good performance. Everyone kind of goes, oh yeah, that's a Stephen Thompson that's been a top 5 contender for years.
Yeah, man. I remember after the Vicente Luque, there was big hype, man. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson looks better than ever. And then if you're not fighting, you get out of people's minds real quick. So just to get back out there, put another performance on it and get me back in the mainstream is what it's all about, to get that next title run. So that's the plan. That's what I'm prepared for. Let's get it.
And one thing I wanted to ask you about is no one's really spent as much time as you have in the octagon with Tyron Woodley. What do you make of his recent skid? Because a lot of people go, oh, he's washed, but look at who he's fought. Like Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington. Like those aren't bad losses.
People just don't understand. People who have never been out there, never put on a pair of gloves and fought, they just don't understand. It's like, when they were talking about my losing streak, I was like, dude, look at the guys that I've faced. I mean, Darren Till, not even a 170 Darren Till, a heavy Darren Till, a big Darren Till, Tyron Woodley. I mean, Anthony Pettis, who was the 155 champ, he's fought at 170 before. But yeah, man, I think Tyron Woodley still, I think he's not the same fighter that I've seen, that I faced off against, I don't think. And I don't know what it is, if it's, he's just got a lot on his plate at this point. I know he's pushing his rap career, which, he's kind of, that's important to him. So I don't know if that's kind of ahead of everything else, but I really do pray that this guy gets it back. I mean, he's 38 years old. He's a year older than me. So he's kind of, he inspires me as well, to get back out in the octagon and see the Tyron Woodley that we normally see. So, I like to see those guys that have been at the top stay at the top, like the veterans. You want to see, like when Mike Tyson fought, it's like, dude, this guy still got it. I love it, which was super cool. But yeah, hopefully we'll see Tyron back soon.
And last person I want to ask you about is what's it like having Chris Weidman out right by you now?
Oh man, it's the best. It's the best. I mean, I have him whenever I want him now. I don't have to fly anywhere. Yeah. He's like an hour and a half away. And he stays with family here. So it's great, man. I had him in yesterday. He's coming in next week just to push me. And, I love having him a part. He's been a part of my camp since the Anderson Silva fight, for many, many, many years. He's helped me with my cardio, my mindset, just watching him push himself in the gym. Even in an injury, when he's not 100%, he always finds something that he can do to stay active and to get better. And that inspires me as well. I've learned a lot from him, especially the wrestling, but having somebody like him who's a grinder and he tries to break you mentally, it's like nobody can break me out there at 170. It can't happen. They're going to have to knock me out to beat me. And that's why I love having him in my corner.
Yeah, and he's one of those other guys similar to Woodley, where everyone's like, after he lost, everyone's like, oh, like after he lost to Dominic Reyes, everyone's like, oh, he needs to retire. Like he has no chin, like all that stuff. And then he goes out and beats Amari up. Now he's fighting a top 10 guy in Uriah Hall.
It's funny because the last guy he fought, he's like, man, that was the strongest guy he has faced, like in the 185 division. And that guy used to be at 170. He used to be, I think he got beat by Gunnar Nelson at one point, but he said that guy was strong. So yeah, I'm so proud of this guy, man. He's on that. He's got a W under him. Now he's fighting Uriah Hall, who they faced off against before. Yeah. He's fought him before and knocked him out. He knocked him out the same way he did Anderson Silva. So I know he can do it again, and I'll be there to help him prepare for that as well.
And just last thing is, how important is Chris Weidman going to be, especially when you move up these welterweight division? Because you look at the top of the welterweight division, it's all wrestlers.
All wrestlers. And to have him there, especially right at the road, dude, I mean, it's like you can't get any better than that. To have somebody, you know, a collegiate, he's like a 3-time All-American. Great MMA fighter. I mean, he's defended the 185 against monsters, Lyoto Machida, Vitor Belfort, a strong Vitor Belfort, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, TRD exactly, man. The guy was just sauced up. But and he's just a monster. And to have him just trying to, you know, taking me down, me working back up to my feet. Man, that right there gives me confidence for sure, to have him knowing that he's right up the street. He can come down anytime. And if he doesn't want to, I'll tell his sister and she'll make him.
Well, just building off that really quickly, because I know you got to go, is do you think people still view your ground game and your grappling as people just overlook it? Everyone just goes, oh, Wonder Boy, the kicker, the karate guy, like he has no ground game and all that.
Yeah, you know, it was my third fight in the UFC. I fought Nishan Burrell, and I out wrestled him. I outstruck him and I out wrestled him. And when I got to the back, who was it? The old matchmaker,
Joe Silva.
Joe Silva comes up to me and says, "Steven, congratulations. I like what you did out there, but remember what got you here. It wasn't your grappling. It was your striking." You know, I was like, you know what? You're right. I need to do that more. So yeah, they underestimate it for sure. And I do a lot of wrestling and jiu-jitsu to be able to keep the fight standing. And I mean, if the submission's there, it's there, but I would rather put a punch or a kick of somebody's head. And that's how, and the fans love that too. So, you know, you never know, man. In the future, you may see some more wrestling and jiu-jitsu as I progress my way up, because those guys are high level wrestlers, you know? And so there'll be some wrestling exchanges for sure. And my wrestling's gotten better since then. It's just that you don't see it a whole lot because I use that wrestling to stay standing. I think the last person to take me down was Tyron.
Yeah.
And during the second fight, and haven't gotten taken down since. So let's keep that streak going.
I will wonder why, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it,
brother. Anytime, man. Let's do it again sometime. Hopefully after the fight. Okay?
Yeah. If you get the win, we'll do it.
You got it, my friend. You have.
We're joined by Geoff Neal, who's headlining his first UFC show coming up. Geoff, man, how's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Obviously, big news came out. Edward Smives off. Then you and Stephen Thompson become the main event.
Right.
What went through your head when you got that call? Because this is obviously a big spotlight for you to headline your first show.
No, really, just more money. That's one thing that went through my head. You know, I mean, I was already co-main event. That's like close to main event. It's really just another fight for me. But the only thing now is I get paid a little bit more money. So happy about that.
And 5 rounds too. Like, how much does training camp change now? Because obviously we're getting pretty close to the fight. But I know Fortis and Safe always push you to push you to go that 5 rounds.
Yeah, we always train for 5 rounds anyway. You know what I mean? His philosophy: if we can't do 5 rounds in the gym, then there's no way in hell you're gonna do 3 during the fight. You know what I mean? So last night we sparred. I did like 7 rounds, 7 or 8 rounds. You know what I mean? And I still felt good. So 5 rounds should be pretty easy. I ain't gonna say easy, but I can do it.
Before we get into the fight, like, what's this year been like for you? Because obviously you go out, knock out Mike Perry. I talked to you after that. You're saying like 2020 setting up to be a good year, especially because Mike Perry had such a big name. No one's ever knocked out Mike Perry. Then obviously all this happens, like the COVID, you can't fight. Then you get sick, and then
But now you're headlining the show against Stephen Thompson. Like, what's this year kind of been like for you, like for mentally?
It's been real up and down. You know what I mean? I beat Mike Perry, so I came into the year like, yeah, man, I'm about to get another fight. You know what I mean? And 3 months later, still no fight. Then the whole COVID thing started happening. So then I'm going through the whole spring and summer, still no fight. I finally get a fight with Neal, and then I get sick as hell, and it was that sucked. So I'm just happy now that that somebody in the top 5 accepted a fight with me. You know what I mean? And it's Wonder Boy Thompson. Like, you know what I mean? The last person I would have thought that would accept a fight with me accepted a fight with me. I'm like, damn, I really appreciate that. But I needed that. You know what I mean? I was trying to angle for a fight with Mike Chiesa. He didn't want to fight me at all. So Wonder Boy, Wonder Boy's a better matchup, and it's the main event, so I'll get more exposure off that fight too. So couldn't be better.
Yeah, and I talked to your teammate Diego Ferreira like a week or 2 ago, and he was bringing up the same thing here. How he thought you and him were very similar, where you guys keep getting talked about as like the dark horse of your division, but yet no one above you ever wants to fight you guys.
No, that's usually how it goes, especially like if you don't have a name, the dudes in the top division are going to want to deal with you. There's like, why are we going to risk our standing to fight? Because, you know what I mean? Like, me and him are dangerous fighters, so it's like it's not something that these top fighters just want to risk. You know what I mean? They're good fighters. They're not scared by any means. They just like, what's the reward? You know what I mean? Like, they're number 5, number 6. Why are they going to go back and fight number 11 or 12? You know what I mean? On paper, they're supposed to win, so they're not going to go back and fight somebody that's not going to do nothing for their chances to fight for a title.
Are you surprised Stephen Thompson ended up accepting this fight? Because there's a lot of talk he was calling out Leon Edwards, and he kept on saying, look, I did the UFC a favor last time, fought down Vicente Luque. I want to fight up. Like, I'm surprised he's fighting down again.
I'm surprised too. I don't know what was the negotiation or how that played out on that one, but him accepting it, I couldn't be happier. I really, that's one of the last people I thought that was going to accept the fight with me. So for him to do that, I think he just wanted to fight this year. He didn't want to take a whole year off. So like, I was the only person ready and able to fight at that moment. So he accepted the fight with me.
And out of that top 5, like, I think you versus Wonder Boy is probably the most exciting fight. Like, both you guys are phenomenal strikers. Like, is this stylistically the fight you really like?
Yeah, I honestly do. You know what I mean? People have been saying like he's a bad style matchup for me. I'm like, that's relative, like, because you haven't seen me fight him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how I'm going to adjust to his style. You know, like, I'm excited for it because he's a great striker. So I'm excited to really showcase what I can do and show people different things about my striking that they haven't seen, because most of my fights have been just like game plan type, like strike like fights. You know what I mean? I've had to follow a certain game plan, so I wasn't able to really open up with my movement and certain things that I do when I'm training here. So I'm really excited for this matchup. It's going to be a test for real.
What do you make of Stephen Thompson right now? Because I remember all the talk heading into the Vicente Luque fight was, man, maybe this is it for Stephen Thompson. Like, maybe he's not that top 5 guy anymore. Then he goes out and absolutely schools Luque. Like, I think it was like a 30-26 or something. Like, like he's still one of those top 5 guys, top 3 guys in the division.
Yeah, for sure, he still is. I think he's like 37 or something like that. But he doesn't look 37 at all. Like, you know what I mean? How he acts and his like facial structure, he looks like he's like 24. I look older than him. You know what I mean? But I feel like he's still good. I feel like he might be past his prime a little bit, but he's still a top contender. He can, like, you know what I mean? After this fight, I beat him. He'll still be a top 5 fighter for years to come. You know what I mean? I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
And Stephen Thompson, everyone knows that karate style. Like, he uses the kicks really well. He uses his range very well. So it's part of the game plan. Like, you gotta get on the inside and not let him get comfortable, just like kind of picking you apart, because that's how Stephen Thompson wins fights.
Yeah, I mean, something like that. It's just hard to, like, people always say, got to get inside, and then people will get inside and they get dropped. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? You got to figure it out. Like, it's not one of those things where there's just going to be one clear-cut avenue to beat him, because he'll make an adjustment and then you'll be paying for it. You know what I mean? He made it Luque was coming forward and he was tagging Thompson. Thompson made an adjustment and then he took over the fight after that. You know what I mean? So I just got to we have different things that we're going to do. It's not a set game plan. Yeah, get inside is one of the things that I'm going to do. Obviously, like, you can't there's no secret to that. But there's other things that I have planned for the fight that I'm going to use.
And is part of it wrestling? Everyone, I've talked to Safe and so many people at Fortis. Alex Morano says you're one of the best wrestlers he's trained with, but we've yet to see your wrestling. Is this a fight you think you're kind of pulling out, or is that something you want to keep in your back pocket for when it's really needed?
We'll see. Who knows? You know what I mean? You might see a little bit of wrestling. You might not. It like I said, it really just depends on him. Like I'm training for everything. You know what I mean? I'm training for any situation. Yeah, I've been wrestling. I wrestle for every camp. So if there comes the opportunity that I can wrestle him, if there comes a point where we grapple and we clinch, and I'm like, man, I'm way stronger than this dude. I can just take him down and smash him. I'm going to do that. But it's not something that I'm just like game plan for. I gotta wrestle. But if an opportunity presents, best believe I'll take him down.
How do you see this fight playing? Because Stephen Thompson, everyone knows you have a ton of power, but Stephen Thompson is one of the most durable guys. Like he's fought the who's who, and he's only ever been knocked out once. It was to Anthony Pettis. It was kind of that like just that perfect spot. So like, how do you see it going? Because I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up going the distance.
I see all my fights. You know what I mean? I'm going for the finish. That's all I want is the finish. That's all I visualize. I don't think about like, oh, I'm gonna go to a decision. Like, cause all decision means is you got punched in the face a lot. You know what I mean? So I don't look forward to things like that. You know, I want to get in there and get out real quick. But he's a tough, crafty veteran. So it might go to a decision. It might be a 5-round war. Who knows? But my goal is to take him out.
And I don't know how much you pay attention to like betting odds or not, but you're a small underdog on some sites. But some sites have this as a pick 'em fight. Like, what do you make of that?
I don't even pay attention to that. Yeah. I know this is my first fight in UFC where I'm the underdog.
Yeah,
which is surprising to me. Like I fought Bilal and I was the favorite. I'm like, what? Okay. But I've been the favorite. I've been the favorite all my career, but now I'm the underdog. So I mean, it really doesn't matter to me. You know, the only thing that matters is me getting out there and getting the win.
What do you think a win over Wonderboy does for you? Because he's obviously ranked top 5. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you out there beat Wonderboy. You're in a #1 contender fight sometime in 2021.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see. I get this win, and then maybe I'll have one more fight, maybe not. You know, we'll see how that plays out in the landscape division. I'm really hoping to do something like just gain a lot of fans after this fight. You know, a lot of people are going to be tuned into the card. Kind of sucks that the Hamzat fight is off because people, you know what I mean, like he had a lot of hype behind us, so everybody wanted to watch that crap. So I was like, I don't mind fighting under like being the co-main, you know what I mean, because they're gonna watch the co-main before the main, so they're gonna see me, you know what I mean, go out there and do something cool. So I'm just hoping to get a lot of fans after this, and once I get the win, get more fans behind me, these dudes ahead of me, they'll have more reason to fight me.
Yeah, what do you just touch on that quickly? What do you make of Hamzat? Because he's a guy that has so much hype, and people were some people thought he deserved that shot at Edward. Some people thought that was way too soon. Like, well, what did you make of that whole rise and getting a #3 guy in his 4th ranked fight where someone like you had to work your way up?
It's the business. I don't like it, but it's the business. You know what I mean? I got to accept it for what it is. I hate it. I was like, man, this dude came in here 3 fights and he's already fighting #3 dude. But I can't hate on the man. You know what I mean? Like if the shoes on the other foot, I'll do the same shit he's doing. You know what I mean? I want to be like, no, I can't fight the #3 dude. I haven't earned my spot. Like he's playing the game how he should. So more power to him. Hopefully he can run that back with Leon, and we'll see where he's really at.
And your teammate Alex Morano just got added to this card against Anthony Pettis. How big is that going to be? And especially just for these 2 weeks up until training camp, where now he's getting really peaked up for that same day you are.
It's good. I'm really happy for him. That's a big name for him. Like he hasn't had a name like that his whole career. I think he has like 10 fights or something like that in the UFC. He has a lot of fights in the UFC, and now he's finally about to get the exposure he needs. Because if he goes out there and does a great job, you know what I mean, he's fighting Anthony Pettis. People are going to watch that fight just because it's Anthony Pettis. So he deserves that. And then we got Ryan Spann. He's fighting on that card too. So now I got 2 teammates that are going to go take that walk with me. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I talked to some people and they said they don't like watching their teammates fight if they have to fight after them just in case they lose, could psych them out. Are you planning to watch those? Or are you going to not even pay any attention to their fights?
I'm going to watch them. I'm going to watch them. Why not watch them? You know what I mean? Like if they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I am still focused on myself. Like when it comes fight day, I put myself in a real selfish place. So I'm going to watch them. I'm going to be rooting for them. But if they lose, I'm not going to care. You know what I mean? Because I still have to go out there and handle my business. You know what I mean? Like it's a war, it's a battle. Just because when you have a fallen comrade, that don't mean you stop and cry about it. You got to keep on pushing forward.
Who are the main guys you're working with? The usual cast, like Alex, Abdul, Uriah Hall, like those guys?
Say it again.
Is it the usual cast characters you're working with, like Morano, Abdul, Uriah Hall?
Talking about the people I'm working with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mainly been working with Charles Bird, Uriah Hall, Ryan Spann, and Stevie Wynn.
Yep.
And they're giving me awesome looks, you know what I mean? Because all of them come, besides Bird, all of them come from a karate background, so they kind of have a general understanding of what Wonder Boy does, and they mimic him really well. So like when I go in the cage and fight Wonder Boy, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh shit, what do I do? I'm like, I kind of know what to do. I know his tendencies, so it's not going to be a strange feeling for me when I fight him.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to touch on is like looking at it, like Uriah Hall and Steve Thompson are very similar. They like throwing the spinning kicks. They like doing all that, like the kick schemes. Like how important has he been in this training camp?
He's been really important, and his advice is more important than his sparring. You know what I mean? Because he's done that. He's done the whole point style karate fighting, so he knows what, like, you know what I mean? Like as far as like a point karate guy, he knows what will throw him off. So he gives me feedback. You know what I mean? We'll go and he's like, hey man, you try to do this, try to do that. You know what I mean? Don't stand here. Don't let me do this. I'm like, okay.
Is he going to be in your corner for this one?
Yeah, he is.
Who is it? Him, Safe?
Him, Safe, Krukasib, and then Stevie Wynn's going to be there.
Oh, I guess you get the extra cornerman then, right? Because you're the big event?
I get 4.
Yeah. And just quickly, a few more things is obviously Safe. How important has he been throughout this whole time? Because I even remember talking to him when you were ill, and like I remember he was always going up to check on you. Like just throughout this year, like how important has he been for you?
He's been real important. Like this year, like even coaching, even outside of coaching, you know what I mean? Like he when I had that whole sepsis thing, he helped me through the whole situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like made sure that everything was straight at home as far as like, you know what I mean? Everything that I had going on, he was there every step of the way. And then as far as the camp, he's Coach Safe, you know what I mean? It's nothing changed for him. You know, he has awesome game plans. He's a great motivator, and he keeps you on your toes.
Do you think if you go out there and beat Wonder Boy, like Fortis and Safe are really going to start getting the respect? Because I've been talking to Safe for years now and you guys for years, and I still think you aren't getting that respect, like your gym and especially him, that he really deserves yet.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? That winning solves everything. You know what I mean? We could talk about not getting respect, but we just got to keep winning, and then eventually people open their eyes.
And just a few more things. Obviously, what's it like headlining this card? Because this card is like one of the best fight night cards. Like you have like Jose Aldo fighting underneath you, Anthony Pettis. Like you go down the list. Like Marlon Moraes is on the card. Like it's a really solid card.
That is crazy headlining a card like that because, like, you know what I mean? Like Jose Aldo, like I look up to Jose Aldo. You know what I mean? So now I'm fighting over him. Like what? You know what I mean? Like I've been watching Jose for years. Even Anthony Pettis. You know what I mean? I've been watching him since his Strike Force days. You know, so like it is. I don't want to let it get to me now. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it's cool. You know, but I'll think about it after the fight. Right now, I'm just staying focused and focusing on what I got to do.
And everyone knows the top of the welterweight division is very wrestling heavy, like Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington. Like, do you think that's when your wrestling and your wrestling defense is really going to show off and you're really going to answer a lot of those questions?
Yeah, for sure. My plan is not to even get in those positions. You know what I mean? just keep moving and knock them out. But you know what I mean? There might come a situation where I get pushed on the cage and I'm gonna have to show some wrestling. But I don't plan on that happening.
Last thing, like if you go out there and beat Wonder Boy, you're in a good spot. Are we going to see a Geoff Neal call out? You don't really see that too often.
Oh, for sure. Like I did, like now, like you know what I mean. I haven't did any call outs just because, like you know what I mean. I felt like it was really not the time. You know what I mean. It's all about timing when you say certain things. I beat Wonder Boy, the timing's there, and it'll be undisputable. You know what I mean. Like nobody be able to say, well, he doesn't deserve this. No, I be a 2-time title challenger, you know what I mean? A 5-time kickboxing champion, like you know what I mean? The number 5 ranked guy, the best striker in the welterweight division. You can't say nothing about it. Like whoever I call out is going to be a legit call out.
And a lot of people thought Wonder Boy beat Tyron Woodley. Like he could be the former champion easily.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get what I want after I beat Wonder Boy.
All right, well, Geoff, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
It's no problem at all, man. Thank you for taking time to interview.
All right, we got Cheeto Vera, the Cheeto Show out on the program. Marlon, man, how's it going?
All good, bro. All good. Just getting home back from surfing and feeling good. Feeling good. This last week of training.
Yeah, massive fight coming up here against Jose Aldo. I know after we talked, after you went over O'Malley, you mentioned a couple names. You thought Jimmy Rivera was going to be the guy. So when they offered you Jose Aldo, what went through your head? Because this guy's a legend of the sport.
I was pretty happy. I was really excited. I was, I just everything came into a perspective in my life. I was like all those years of working, me coming out of Ecuador, like just being a kid, doing everything to make it to the UFC, and now I'm fighting the big dog. So now's my time to let the division know I'm gonna be a world champion. And before that, I gotta take Aldo out. I'm not planning to leave it in the Dodgers, and I'm feel pretty good, pretty confident. I'm better prepared, so I'm gonna go in there and do my thing, and I'm gonna put this guy out.
This fight was supposed to happen at 255. Then it was rumored for 256. What was the reason for it to be pushed back all the way to December 19th?
I heard there might be some visa issues. You know, we saw that with Peter Yan too, and they just sent me my new extension too. So it might be him and me at the same time for the visa. So you know, we foreigners. So I live in the U.S., but I gotta redo my visa every amount of time. So until I didn't get a green card, I'm not 100% here. You know, I'm just here, but I'm not really here. So maybe it was the visa issues in both sides, but you know that might be it.
How glad were you that they rebooked the fight? Because sometimes when that happens, the UFC will just rebook you guys for different fights.
I was confident they were sticking to this fight because I put it like this, is simple like that. You know, this is a big test for me, and it's a opportunity for him to go back to the winning call. And you know, he's not doing so good lately. He's still a strong fighter. You know, like he only lost to the top of the division. You know, he lost against the champion, he lost against the former champion, and he lost against Jan for the title. So like if somebody think the guy is done, yeah, he can be done, but it's still a guy that is very tough, and he's still there for a good time. So I think the UFC was planning to just keep this fight because it just makes sense. You know, I'm the guy that I'm coming up, and he's the guy that is on his way down. So you know, one guy's gonna have his head chopped that night, and it's not gonna be me.
Yeah, that's what I want to touch on before really getting into fighters. What do you make of the Jose Aldo right now? Because a lot of people go, "Oh, he's past his prime," but you look at who he fought to. He lost a split to Marlon Moraes. A lot of people thought he won that fight. He won 5 rounds. Yeah, and he lost in the 5th round to Peter Yan, but he gave Peter Yan the toughest test of Yan's career so far. It's like, where do you put him at? Like, do you still think he's still one of those top 5 guys?
He's definitely a top 5 guy. Like, he's a guy that we saw, and he's not a scrub. He's a fucking hammer. He comes and fight, and I like that because at some point you gotta test yourself. You know, I think I had top fights before. You know, I fought Young Lineker when nobody wanna fight Young Lineker. You know, when I fought him, he was like ranked number 4, I believe, and I wasn't even in the rankings. When they called me for that fight, I was like, oh, I guess nobody wanna took the fight, so they're calling the cowboy, and I was like, fuck yeah, I take the fight. So I'm already been in these positions that they give me a good fight, and I feel back then it was a blessing to took the fight because it gives me so much experience and tell me a lot of pointers what I need to do and what I need to improve. So you know, now I'm in the rankings, and I think it's the time. You know, it's the time to just let them know I'm the guy that is gonna be knocking the door right after I finish this guy. So I've been training my ass off. I've been doing everything in my hands to be in shape to win this fight, and just doing a good planning of my training so I can be prepared.
What's this year been like for you? Because obviously, to begin this year,
you got absolutely robbed against Song Yudong. Everyone knew you won that fight. That was frustrating for you. But then you go out there, really derail the hype of Shot O'Malley, get a ton of hype, and now you go out there and beat Jose Aldo. Like, you're knocking on the door for a title. So what's this kind of year been like for you?
It's been a positive year. You gotta take all the good from the bad. Like when things like this happen, like it's not like I'm at home lazy, I don't want to work. Like COVID hit the whole world, and we all get weirded out. We all get scared at the beginning, but you just gotta push it through. You gotta be like, you cannot let adversity sit you down, because once adversity wins, you're not the right person for go to battle or for overcome bad moments. And that's why there's weak people and strong people, and I feel I'm in the good side. I just tell my wife, my family, like, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna push this through, and we're gonna be fine. I bought a house right before COVID hit. I put my every single dollar I made the year before into a house, because I was like, it's all good. I'm fighting in February against Jimmy Rivera, and then he get hurt. COVID hit. I got like 4 or 5 fights canceled because of COVID, and thank God the UFC send me some money, because I was literally on zero. I make plans. I bought the house. I was on zero, and those are the tests that life puts you sometimes. Sometimes you gotta just dig deep and grind, and don't stop believing, don't stop pushing forward, because those are the tests that life put you in front of you to see if you're gonna break or not. And I was just walking forward through it.
This fight against Jose Aldo, what surprised a lot of people against Peter Yan is he brought back the old leg kicks, because that was one of his patented things. He hadn't thrown the legs a while. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Do you think he's going to come out with that same game plan of attack the legs early?
There's two fighters. There's the Aldo that was chopping everybody's leg, strong boxing, big low kicks, and there's the Aldo that the other Aldo that was just like kind of like boxing, throwing less kicks, and just being very explosive. I'm prepared for both, and then I'm prepared for what I saw from him, and then of course somebody improve and somebody bring new tricks. Then when you do adjustments on the fly, and I feel I'm pretty good at that too. I feel like if somebody changed me the fight, that's what you have to do. You gotta work hard in every single area, in the stand up, in the jiu-jitsu, in the wrestling. But I'm prepared for this fight. I'm very prepared. I'm very confident, and I'm willing to dig deep in order to win this fight. So I'm not gonna be shy away. I'm not running away from a scrap. I'm not running away from a bloody fight. So if shit hit the fence, I'm gonna be enjoying it.
Jose Aldo's one of the best strikers we've seen. You're obviously a really good striker yourself, but you have underrated ground game. Do you expect this fight to hit the mat at any point, or do you think it's just going to be a stand-up fight?
Again, I'm open for all situations. If he wanna take me down, if I have to take him down, I don't think I'm gonna be in a bad spot. My jiu-jitsu is good. My wrestling is getting up with my jiu-jitsu, because I start as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I'm just feeling good in all areas. I feel like if we're cracking, we're gonna be fine. But if somebody decides to take the fight to the ground, I see my options. If I'm beating them up, I defend the takedown, and I'm making pay. But it's a fight. You can get hurt. If I got sources. I get hurt, I take him down.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because Jose Aldo is a guy that where I wouldn't be surprised if you go. I'm personally picking you to win. I think you're going to win this fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if you even go out there and finish him.
Yeah, I'm seeing this fight a hard first round. I'm gonna bring it, and I see a finish by the end of the second or beginning of the third, and it's a fight. You can have many plans, but once you're there, everything can go sideways. So I'm prepared for anything.
What do you think a win over Aldo does for you? But more importantly, like, what does a finish win? Because you looked at Aldo, the only people to finish him are McGregor, Max Holloway, and Peter Yan. Like, Alexander Volkanovski, the current featherweight champ, and Marlon Moraes, one of the top bantamweight guys, weren't even able to finish him.
I just feel I bring a different type of pressure. I believe I work so hard to just go to the decision. I know I see a lot of guys that they can push it through, but they're not maybe conditioning for that. I really believe in my conditioning, and I just don't train for training. I just don't work out for workout. I train with purpose, and that's for hurt people in fighting, and it's been working lately. So I haven't changed it, but I'm of course always like trying to make sure my training get better, my conditioning get better, and always making questions, trying to like find new weapons and find new ways to get stronger, faster, and having a better cardio.
You're the betting underdog again. Yeah, a pretty big one, like about plus 160. This is the third straight fight you're the underdog. Why do you think they aren't giving you that respect yet?
Fuck, I don't need the respect either. I'm getting, I'm just, I don't even see those things. If I'm the betting underdog, like I don't get paid more or less,
Yeah.
depending of those things. So those are just people opinions. Last fight I make a lot of people good money. This time I'm gonna make them good money too.
And your last fight, obviously, that really good win over Sean O'Malley. He's done a lot of talking. He's talked about how you guys are gonna rematch down the line. Do you think you're gonna meet him again at some point?
I don't fucking care. The UFC called me. They give me a name, and I said yes. I don't think I haven't declined a fight in my whole career, and of course, if I'm injured, I'm telling them I can't fight right now. But if I'm okay, I take it. I take fights before without camps before, so whatever they want to do. O'Malley is just it's like a little puppy, bark, bark, and do nothing. So I'm not wasting my time with that guy.
And obviously, Aldo is ranked 7, so a win here would put you in that top 10. Like, how a win over Aldo? Like, do you think you'd only be 1-2 fights away from getting a title shot?
We're facing crazy times. Somebody can get COVID, somebody can get hurt. I can fight for the title right after the fight. It all depends on what happened after. Maybe some guys are booked, maybe some guys get hurt. If I go in there and I beat the guy the way I have in my head planned, I can fight for the title any day after that. But first things first, I gotta beat the fuck out of this guy first, and then go from there.
And just last thing, everything goes your way December 19th. Like, they are taking that break for Christmas and New Year's, but how quickly would you want to turn this thing around?
I think if I'm healthy, I can fight anytime in February, even January. I'm not planning to do anything crazy after the fight, but just training and improve. But I gotta be healthy for that. So when I'm walking out of the cage, I will feel my body, and then I will make a plan in my head, and then my coaches are gonna be with me, my manager is gonna be around, so I let them know. So, but first things first, fight first and then make a plan, because I see a lot of people making plans before the fight, and I'm like, focus on the fucking fight first. Like, there's nothing in my head but the 19 right now. As soon as that's done, then I open my mouth.
Actually, just one more thing is TJ Dillashaw is coming back soon, and he's talked about how he wants that immediate title shot. I personally think if you go out there and beat Aldo, I think you'd be a good fight for him to welcome back to show if he's still a top 10 guy.
A lot of people talk about social media that, but he's my friend. I'm not fighting him. We train together. He helped me a lot, and we work often, so I don't think that fight's gonna happen. We're cool friends. We talk often, and that ain't happening. We're cool. You're the
I
first guy that asked me like in an interview, but a lot of people on Twitter always like tag us, and I don't reply. He don't reply because it's just social media. But now that you're asking me, like, the guy's my friend. It's hard to find your friends.
Yeah. Well, Marlon, thank you so much for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
We're joined by ranked UFC bantamweight Rob Font. Rob, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Obviously, haven't seen you in the octagon for about a year by the time your last fight comes around. I know you've dealt with some injuries, but turning against a former title challenger, Marlon Moraes, was this a guy you ever thought you'd be fighting in your return fight?
Oh, duh. Probably not in return fight, but definitely knew I would eventually get his name. And obviously seeing him lose versus Corey Sandhagen, I was like, oh, this opportunity right here. I didn't even ask for it too, but I definitely thought about it, and then they came to us with it. So it was like, oh hell yeah, perfect. I was definitely thinking about that, but it's a great fight. Former champ, I believe, right in World Series of Fighting. Just fought, title, so yeah, he's been there, done that. He's fought a lot of good guys, and this is one step closer to that title.
And bantamweight division is one of the most stacked in the UFC. So to get a shot at the number 3 guy, like, what's that like for you?
That's huge, man. Great opportunity. Just got to rise to the occasion and take advantage of it, and remind everybody that I'm here, and I'm here to be taken serious.
How difficult has this past year been? Just because you've been a guy considered this like dark horse of bantamweight division. Everybody talks about how Rob Font's can make a run, but just the past 2 years, it's just been a lot of injuries, and you haven't been able to make that run yet.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna dwell on it. It is what it is. This last one, had me sitting, but it wasn't the worst, I guess. I had, obviously with the pandemic and the coronavirus and all that, kind of like all I had to do was focus on my rehab. There was nothing else to do, so kind of like it wasn't like, it didn't feel that bad like the year before, where it was like everybody's fighting, everything was going on, everything was normal, and I couldn't get a fight. So it is what it is. It didn't feel that bad, if that makes sense. This year off with the rehab and the injury, but we're back to it. Another big fight, great opportunity. I just got to go out there and put on a show, man. This is huge.
I was looking. You have, I think it's a 5 or a 6-inch reach advantage over Marlon Moraes. Like, how important do you think that's going to be in the fight? Because that's a pretty sizable one.
It's a big help on my side. I just got to use it. I got to use it. I got to be smart with my reach, let him run into the knockout punch and not chase him around and just let it happen. He's quick, explosive, but I have reach on him, and if I can time it and beat him before it gets to me, then it's gonna be a great night for me.
Are you surprised this is your opponent right now? Just because Marlon Moraes was knocked out 2 months ago when you guys played, that's a pretty quick turnaround of getting knocked out.
Hey man, I'm not complaining, man. That's on him and his team, So it is what it is. It's he's been knocked out, recently. So my job is to go out there and put him into that familiar place and dig him up a little bit, let him bring him back to that memory, and then try to put him away. So yeah, man, it is what it is. It's that's his team. It is what it is.
A big knock a lot of people say about Marlon is his cardio, just because in that Cejudo fight he looks like he gassed after winning that first 2 rounds. You don't ever seem to get tired. You think that's a big advantage for you with your cardio, and you go 3 hard rounds?
Yeah, I've always we my team always worked real hard on the conditioning, and I guess I would say that probably was my biggest fear, because I gassed out in my first amateur fight, and I know exactly what that feels like. So I was like, never again. I will never let that happen. I just always ever since that fight, always really focused on conditioning and never finished. And I'm not saying you're not going to get tired, but my goal is to never gas out. So yeah, we get tired, we thug it out, but I'm confident that I'm never going to gas out.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because Marlon, obviously, everyone knows, likes that spinning stuff, a ton of knockout power. You're about as durable as they come, though, and you. Once you get past that, like, if this fight gets late, I think it's your fight to really take over.
Yeah, I want to obviously secure the first 2 rounds and make him push, and I feel like the finish will come in the 3rd round. I mean, that's was just kind of like, like not landing big accurate shots. But if I land big accurate shots in the 1st round, I'm confident I'm gonna put him away. But if it's not just not really finding my time and I'm not really landing much, I feel like I want to put more pressure on him to where he does gas out or gets tired towards the 2nd or 3rd round, and then look for the big shots and the accurate shots to put him away.
Obviously, a win would be big, but do you think a finish win over him would do a lot more for you? Just because the only people to finish him have been Sandhagen and Cejudo. Cejudo's a former champ. Sandhagen's like right there for your title shot.
Yeah, hell yeah. Nobody. I think finishing any fight is huge. I believe if you're at the party and you see a big knockout, I don't care who you are. You don't even have to be a fan. You're excited. You're jumping up and you're paying attention. So I go out there and put a stamp on this dude and put him away. I believe that's that's enough to get a title shot, if not another big name.
Both you guys are kind of known as a striker, and both you guys have this underrated ground game. Would you be surprised if it hits the ground at some point, or do you expect just to be stand-up fight?
No, yeah, I won't be surprised if it hits the ground. We're both mixed martial artists, so if the opportunity does present itself, I'm pretty sure he's going to try to shoot on me, or I'll try to shoot on him. But especially you say we're both strikers, so you know what happens when people get hurt, people shoot. So it is what it is. So we'll see. But my plan is to not really like force the wrestling, but if I have to, I'll go to it.
And Marlon is ranked number 3. So where do you think a win here puts you? Because I wouldn't be surprised you get this one. You might be in a number 1 contender fight in your next fight out.
That's that's the plan. Get away with a W. We number contender. But I really feel like if I go out there and really perform, could get that title shot. Depending on injury, depending on people, you never know with the UFC. But regardless, it's all upsides from a W.
Would you be interested in welcoming TJ Dillashaw back? Just because I think the timing could work out. You go out there and beat Marlon Rice. He's going to want a top 5 guy. You'd be a top 5 guy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Perfect. That'd be great. You obviously title shot is the number 1 goal, but that's just as good. Former champ. That'd be the kind of that might even be a bigger fight than the title fight. That's a big fight. So hell yeah, that'd be a huge fight for me.
This will be your first time with the fighting in front of no fans, where you were out cornering Calvin, so you've kind of dealt with what fight week's like. But do you think it's going to be any different for you fighting this time?
No, obviously I was fortunate to kind of be there with Calvin through both Jacksonville and Fight Island, so I got an idea of the fight week, what it feels like in there. So obviously I haven't fought, but I have an idea. I don't think the first 2-3 seconds of that after the bell rings, I'm gonna be locked in focus, and it'll be right back to a normal day for me.
If everything goes your way December 19th, how quickly would you want to turn this thing around? Just because you are the last card of the year, but I just assume you'd probably want to get in there pretty active next year after having a whole year off.
Yeah, everything goes smooth. I walk away pretty clean. I wouldn't mind getting right back in there. But again, like now, but you just can't take any fight either. So the fight would have to make sense. But they call, I'm there.
Just a few more things. Obviously, I've talked to Calvin numerous times, and he said he really wanted to have his 3rd fight of the year on the same card as you. Are you a bit disappointed you're not going to share that card with him?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's like it is what it is. You got a huge fight, So it's like, shit, man. Shut up, stop complaining. Let's get ready, because that's a big fight. He's kind of, I guess, you can technically call him the uncrowned champ. He's technically the champ. A lot of people believe he won that fight, so he goes out there and wins that. Beat Max Holloway. He's definitely either getting a title shot or number 1 contender. So it's a big fight. So it's kind of like it's a big fight, man. You can't be on the smaller cards. You got to do the pay-per-view stuff now. So it's like I'm excited for it, man. It's gonna be a big fight, and yeah, man, I'm expecting a war for that.
Is he going to be a big part of this camp just because his fight's out like a month after you? I assume he's going to be right in camp.
Yeah, no, he's always part of the, he's going to be cornering me. I'll be cornering him. So he's always part of the camp. We were training earlier today. We just got finished up, and it's perfect timing. The last time we did this, we did great. So we're just going to try to repeat that result.
You obviously went to Fight Island with Calvin. Are you glad this fight's in Vegas as opposed to out there?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, obviously it was a cool experience, and I would do it if I have to, but nah, fuck that flight. It's a long ass flight.
Is part of the hope too is don't take much damage so you get right back in the gym that Monday and prepare Calvin, because again his fights would be coming up right after
that's kind of what we do anyways, so it'll be even if I'm limping, I'm in the gym, watching, helping, bringing in guys, whatever I got to do, I'll be there. So in a perfect world, get in there unscathed, come back home, I'm right back to training. But if I am a little dinged up, I'll still be in the gym.
Tyson Chardy has to be one of the most underrated coaches. I don't think he gets enough respect. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely not. We gotta, but again, after these 2 big fights, you're gonna hear nothing but his name in the cartel, and yeah, he's about to blow up.
How disappointed was it that obviously this all happened and there wasn't no Boston card? Because I know that's something you and Calvin both like. Because especially now where you guys are, it wouldn't have been a shock to see like Calvin headlining a new co-main event.
It's been huge, man. It would have been a big card, big night for New England, big night for Boston. But it is what it is. We're going to Vegas with it, so the show must continue.
And just last thing with your fight, it is the smaller octagon out there. How do you think that's going to play a factor in the fight?
So I fought and at the Palms.
Yeah.
I believe I fought in that exact size cage. It's a little tight, but I started training in a basement, like in sparring base. So I'm used to those small, tighter spaces. So it's meant for fireworks, and that's what I think I believe I deliver. So they want to see knockouts, they throw you in that cage, and I'm here to deliver.
Well, just building off that, do you actually think that's a hindrance for Marlon? Because he's a guy that likes to move around, likes to kind of use that outside of the octagon a lot.
Maybe a little bit. We'll see. He's he's a pro, so it could have been a hindrance before. I'm pretty sure he's been working on it, so it might not be the same same guy. So we'll see. But hopefully he does he doesn't do well with the small cage. Obviously it works in my favor. So we'll see, man. I'm excited. I can't wait, man. It's been way too long.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Of course, bro.
All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight Khaos Williams. Khaos, man, how's it going?
What's going on?
Quick turnaround here. I know when we talked after your last win, you said you were hoping to get one more in this year. How quickly did this fight come together?
I've spoken into existence, man. I've spoken into existence. Really, not even a week after my fight. I talked to you, and not even a week later, here I am. About to get back in there.
And Michelle Pereira, was this a guy you had your eye on, or was this just who the UFC offered? Because when it got announced, everyone was excited for this one.
Man, everybody was announcing it, man. I didn't even get a chance to announce it first. I wanted to announce it first. I didn't even sign the contract, and it was out there yet. I just verbally said, yeah, let's run it, and it was out there. And I'm like, dang, I can't even, you know what I mean? Hey, but, I'm like, man, I must got to look in my room or something, shit. But I know he's a pretty tough dude. I know he's a showman, and I'm gonna be ready, man. And it's gonna be another W for me. God didn't bring me this far to drop me off here, and I'll put the work in, man. I'm in shape. Like I said, I got the call like a week later. I've been in training camp, celebrated a couple nights, and right back to it.
Well, yeah, let's just touch on that. What is training camp? Because this is a quick turnaround to short notice. Is it basically just building off what the last training camp was and just trying to get as much work in as possible?
Basically, man. I got a good setup. I got a good system. So, for this one, I already know I could turn any striker into a wrestler. You get what I'm saying? My striking is money. And, I've been working on everything. I'm a well-rounded fighter, and I'm pretty sure, man, I'm going to turn this guy into a wrestler as well. He see what I've done to the other two opponents, and they haven't really seen too much of me. But I'm going to be in shape. I'm going to be sharp, and, I'm going to just keep, keep working on everything.
And Michelle Pereira is a guy that likes to throw some weird kicks, do somersaults inside the octagon. How do you prepare for that? Because it's going to be a lot of weird strikes you've probably never seen in a fight before.
Certain things like that, you really can't prepare. You really can't prepare for unpredictable stuff, man. But, like I said, I'm going to just be me. Be sharp and be able to go 15 minutes, which I am now, but you get what I'm saying? Like I said, man, he do that if he wants to, man. It's a fight. One thing about me, man, I don't play. So you make a mistake with me, you got to pay.
Both your UFC fights under 30 seconds. Obviously, we know how good your striking is, but you keep on saying you're going to turn these strikes into wrestling. Do you think Michelle's going to shoot on you at some point in this fight?
He can. I feel like, once he feel my power, once I start touching that chin, he might. I feel like his coach is going to tell him to. And that's not going to work neither, though. So, you have a plan A, plan B, plan C, they're not going to work.
Are you hoping someone eventually shoots on you so you can silence all doubters again about your wrestling? Because we talked after your first fight, you even brought up that people were saying, oh, that's a fluke. And then after the second fight, I think people started to buy into your striking. But now the question is, oh, what happens when he fights a wrestler? Are you hoping that comes up soon?
I mean, you know, it ain't really, like I said, it ain't really no hope or nothing, man. You know, it's a fight. You know, what happens is gonna happen. But if he do, you know, and once I stop all of his takedowns, you know, that's some more stats. That's some more stats that they can put on the game for me.
Are you hoping to get added into the new UFC game?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I go 3-0. You know, what's his name? Kamavi 3-0. Shoot, they put him in the game. They might as well put me. You might as well put the ox on there too. Once I go 3-0, it's only right.
How do you see this fight playing against Michelle? Just because he obviously is a striker at heart, but again, he has that unpredictable style, and we obviously know you only need one punch, and the fight's probably going to be over.
Can you repeat that? It kind of went in and out a little bit.
How do you see this fight playing out?
Man, I see it playing out me touching his chin, dropping him, either knocking him out. If I don't knock him out, TKO. Like I always say, if that's not the case, you know, we're just gonna go the distance, and I'm gonna just have to outstrike him, and I'm gonna just have to, you know, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. You know, I'm not about to be outworked. So if I don't get the stoppage, you know, I'm gonna just outwork him.
Where do you think a win over Michelle puts you? Because a lot of people thought after that, your last one, you would have got a ranked guy. I think if you go out there and beat him, a ranked guy's probably next.
I agree. But like I said, man, you know, money talk. You know, money talk, bullshit walk. You know, I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman as well. You know, I've seen. I don't know if it was real or not, but I've seen. I'm gonna say no names, but I was just seeing certain numbers. Like I said, I don't know how accurate they are, but I've seen certain numbers where some fighters were getting paid like damn near $250,000, and another fighter only got paid like $25,000. You know, but he ended up losing. But I'm not about to be that guy. If that's true, you know, gotta pay me what I'm worth, pay me what the fight worth. You know.
So you're really just trying to fight guys that are making around the same money as you. You don't want to fight one of those guys that are like quadruple what you're making.
I mean, I fight whoever. You know what I'm saying? I fight whoever. But the thing is, it just gotta be right. You know, the time gotta be right, and it gotta make sense, man. You know, what's the sense of and let me correct myself too, because I don't want people to think like, oh, I'm just out there for the money. I'm just not out there for the money. See, me, I love to fight. I'm a fighter at heart. You know, when I go in there, it's for the opportunity to be better, to, you know what I'm saying, come down the rankings, to show people who I am, for the love of the sport, and to one day get down to where I got the number above my name, and I'm down to top 5, you know, title contention, and get that title one day. But what I'm saying is, on the way there, you know, the process of, if I'm fighting a 10th ranked dude or something like that, and he making $300,000, and I'm making, you know, just say $100,000, like that, you know what I'm saying? It ain't adding up.
Have you negotiated a new contract, or are you still on that first UFC deal?
No, it's in. We're talking about it right now.
Was this part of it to get that new deal, is to take another fight?
No. We haven't. Like I said, we haven't. It's just out there. You know, we planted the seed. I planted the seed. It's being watered, but it might just be signed right after this fight. You know, that's what it's looking like.
And 2 straight UFC fights, 2 bonuses. Do you get go 3 for 3 here?
Hey, you know, only God knows. You know, only God knows. Hope and pray I do, but we gonna see.
Everyone's kind of talking about this. Who's the fighter of the year? Do you think you would have a legitimate case if you go out there and finish Michelle Pereira? That'd be 3-0, 3 finishes, and 2 coming in under 30 seconds.
Definitely, without a doubt. You know, I'm coming in the game. Nobody knew who I was. I'm coming in the game. You know, I'm breaking records. You know, I go 3-0, knock him out. I mean, come on now. And if I do get another bonus, 3-0, 3 knockouts, however long it is, you know, like you said, man, they already talking about me. They talking about me for a reason.
You're a guy that likes to be active, so say everything goes your way. This is obviously the last card of the year. How quickly would you want to turn this thing around? Like January, February, or are you hoping to get a bit of time off?
You know, it just all depends on what's going on, man. You know, I don't really, I don't really know the future, you know. But yeah, I just want to take it a day at a time, see how this fight goes, you know, see how my body feel, and then we just go from there.
And this is a second weight cut in a short period of time. Is that any concern for you?
Nope, never.
And you've already had 2 UFC fights, but only gone 57 seconds total. Does part of you want the fight to last a bit longer so you can get more octagon time in?
No, man, you know, the sooner the better, you know. You know, let's go, you know, timing is everything. Timing is everything. The sooner the better, man. That's just more longevity for me in my career, you know.
And just the last thing, everything goes your way. Do you have anyone in mind of who you'd want to call out? Because it seems like you're a guy that you wouldn't mind calling some of your shots.
No, man, not right now, man. Like I said, man, I'm just focused on doing what I got to do. You know, showing people my value, showing people my worth, showing the world my worth, as well as Dana White and, you know, the company. And, you know, right now it's just time for me to talk with my actions. Let my actions speak for themselves. And it's gonna be times where, you know, I'm a decent speaker, so it's gonna be time to talk. But right now, you know, I'm at the point of my career. It's time to just keep letting my actions speak for themselves, and they're gonna hear what I'm saying with my hands.
All right, well, Khaos, man, thank you so much for doing this again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we're joined by UFC flyweight Maycee Barber. Maycee, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, it's almost been a full year since your last fight and everything. What's this year been like? It's obviously disappointing loss, but then this whole year's just been about the rehab.
First of all, I have to say that loss, it sucked to get injured. The loss, not just necessarily disappointing, but what was worse was, you know, knowing that I lost the fight and couldn't come back and fight right away because of the injury. Not disappointing though, you know, it's just part of the journey and part of the story. So I'm not gonna take it as a disappointment. It's a lesson and something I have to grow from. But for me, the year has been, I think for everybody, the year's been full of ups and downs and a lot of like crazy, unexpected turns. Same for me, you know, this year I've been able to at least stay positive in the sense of, you know, it's not just me that's out, you know, a lot of people have been out and I've just happened to be able to focus on an injury along with being out. But you know, this year has taught me a lot of things and it's been a lot of lessons.
And what, like, obviously after that loss, there was a lot of backlash on you. How did you take all that?
I mean, there was definitely some backlash of like, you know, obviously when I got injured, I think that's the fight that I took the mic and I said what I had to say. Yeah. Obviously we heard some talking about that. And then me coming out and saying that, you know, I tore my knee in that fight, and which was the truth, you know, and I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody, but I was fighting on one leg and that's the truth of it. And that's how I feel about it. But for me, you know, people are going to say good things and people are going to say bad things, you know, and when people are telling you all sorts of good things, you can't always listen to all of that because then you start to believe it and then you stop working as hard. And when people start to talk shit about you, then, you know, then you start to believe that as well. So I try not to let any of that go to my head. You know, I got to stay neutral. Can't let the positive go too high. Can't let the negative go too low. So just trying to stay in the middle of it.
And you switched gyms for a bit, didn't you? Or you were like do roof sport on the weekends and you go, where is it, Chicago or?
For this camp, no, I didn't. I'm trying to think. I believe I did the whole thing in Milwaukee. I was with Ben Askren and Duke Rufus and Mark Lehman, and those three were the people that were in my corner. For this upcoming fight, I have switched and I have moved. I'm now in Chicago with Mike Valley and Izzy Martinez. I still have a relationship with Ben. I still have I left on good terms with Duke. I just feel like for me, this switch to camps is more for me, you know, more work, more practices, a lot harder practices, you know, every single day is you're leaving the gym knowing that, okay, I did every single thing that I could and I'm tired, you know, like you leave the gym tired after every practice and mentally and physically with the training partners right now, it's really good. So I'm happy.
And after the fight, I remember you saying you wanted to try to return in December. Looking back now, are you glad that this fight isn't now?
Yeah. Mainly because, you know, like I wanted to be able to fight and tear my ACL and then fight again in the same year and have that be like the story of like, oh, you fought twice in 1 year and tore your ACL in between. Yeah, that'd be fun, or a great story and like a quick comeback. However, this kind of injury, I don't ever want to go through this again. It sucked. It still sucks, you know, like just looking back on him, like there was a lot of like ups and downs, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, but at the same time, it sucked. So, uh, being able to take the extra month or 2 months to be able to get a fight later, I think is the smarter thing for my career, especially at 22 years old.
Yeah, and Alexa Grasso, a fairly notable name. Was this the one you had your on, or was this just kind of who the UFC offered you?
Yeah, we had our eye on her, but at the same time, that was also who they offered, and that was the first offer they gave us. So, I've never turned down a fight, and I've never turned down an offer from an opponent, because just like I have a plan, I know that the UFC also has a plan. So if they say Alexa Grasso, there's definitely a reason behind it, and I feel like that's the right way to go, you know. And in my division and for me in my career, I shouldn't ever be afraid to fight anybody. So, and I never have been. So if you offer me Alexa Grasso, most likely I'm gonna take Alexa Grasso.
Are you surprised more girls weren't calling you out like in November, December as you're getting closer to returning? Because you obviously are a big name in this division.
You know, I'm not surprised, mainly because I think a lot of fighters and a lot of athletes have had injuries. So to call a fighter out who's injured is kind of like, it doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. That's like me calling out Paige Van Zandt when I know that she just goes in for arm surgery. It's like, okay, well, obviously she's not going to fight, so why would I call her out, you know? Aside from that, I mean, I can see why other girls didn't call me out, because, again, you don't know when someone's going to return. You know, you don't know what's going to happen next. And same thing, like I said, the UFC has a plan, so when they offer someone, most likely a fighter already has their eye on someone else, or they've already talked about who they want next.
With this fight against Alexa, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you? Just because a lot of people after the last loss go, oh, maybe Maycee isn't that top 10 girl everyone thought, and there's a lot of time to like prove all those doubters wrong this fight.
Yeah, there's definitely time to prove all that wrong. No, I don't feel like there's a lot of pressure on me from like the outside world, but for me, I've put a lot of pressure on myself. You know, this is one of the biggest fights in my career coming back. You know, every fight is important to me, and every fight is like the biggest fight of my life when it's gonna happen. But this, for real, is, you know, a comeback from an injury and a comeback from a loss is huge. And those two put together, I'm taking it 100%, everything I got. You know, like this is an important fight for me. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, and I know the coaches are too. You know, this is them getting me ready for a comeback, and it's going to be a great one. I
don't know if you saw, but after you lost, Michael Bisping had a lot of choice words for you. Did you see that?
I did. When you said whatever your last question was about me getting a lot of like talk back. I do. I see it. I understand where he's coming from, you know. I was not at all trying to like whine about it or complain about it. You know, things happen, and I got injured. I lost. There has to be a winner and has to be a loser. I've always looked up to Michael Bisping as a fighter and as a athlete that has come before me. To me, he's a legend. So to have him say what he said was like, oh, it kind of stung a little bit, you know, because it was I look up to him, but at the same time, it's kind of a kick in the butt, but because it's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, stuff happens, and you know, we don't make excuses, and I'm not making excuses. That was the fact of the truth. I got hurt, and Roxanne won that night, so yeah.
Do you also think you get a lot of backlash just because you entered the UFC with such momentum and hype, and you kept on saying, I'll be the youngest UFC champion? Do you think if you didn't say all that and weren't such a big name, none of this backlash would have been a thing? Like, everyone would have been, oh, she probably did lose because she tore her ACL.
I don't think it would be a thing, because you know what? If I didn't talk, and if I didn't have all the hype behind me, I would just be another fighter, you know? So I want the hype. I want I want all the backlash. I want all the drama. I don't care. Bring it on, because that means people are paying attention. It means they're watching. And that's, that's what I am. I'm a fighter to watch. Whether whether I lose, I still was a fighter that you should watch. I mean, that was not a unentertaining fight. That was a good fight to watch. It sucked for me, and every time I watch it, I cringe. But at the same time, I can pick apart, and it was not like, I was just not trying to fight. It was, it was from a fan's perspective. I think you could still watch that and be entertained.
And I think the UFC put you on that card for a reason as well. I think they were trying to build you up, especially going on a McGregor card. So there's going to be tons of eyeballs. And if I'm not wrong, you headlined right before the pay-per-view, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So
yeah.
Do you think they are trying to push you? Like, do you think you were on that card for that reason? Was trying to push you to get more eyeballs on you?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm put on. I called it out. I was like, I want to fight on a big card, and that's probably one of the biggest cards you could ever fight on is a Conor McGregor card, and it was a huge honor to fight on that card, and even with a loss, I'd still lose on that card. That was huge. So I definitely know they're trying to build me, and they're trying to push me, and they're trying to push a lot of young athletes. Again, I'm 22, and they're trying to build the next wave of high level athletes and talent.
And with that loss to Montefiore, is that a fight eventually you'd like to get a rematch and get back to prove you are the better fighter?
Before I said that, yes, I would. And I still would, if I was given the fight. I would, obviously, who doesn't want to go and fight and win a fight that they know they could win, but they lost, Yeah, I'd fight and I'd win that fight, but at the same time, I also know in my heart that I would win that fight. So that's not one that I have to be like, okay, I have to fight this one before I fight anybody else, because that's not something in my heart or in my as a competitor. I'm not like that really sucks because I got beat. I didn't get beaten down. I didn't get destroyed. I was still competing, and she was not able to finish me. In fact, I had threatening positions even with a busted leg. So that tells me that I was fighting it with one leg, and I was still being a competitive fight for that. So, yeah, no, I'm obviously I would love that fight, but nah, either way.
And getting to your fight quickly, are you personally? I am surprised they booked you versus Alexa, because I thought you two are two of those like young up-and-coming prospects of flying. I'm surprised they'd want to put you against each other right now, because to me, this is a fight that where easily both you guys could be in the top 5 and makes a lot more sense a few years down the line.
To be honest, I mean, either one of us, I think that we could fight a couple times and then have a title shot. So to have us fight down the line might make sense, but at the same time, also fighting right now also makes sense, because this could be, who's next. If you win this one, you fight another one, then you have a title shot, and that can happen for either one of us. So I think either way, it builds up a lot, especially for me. If I take this fight, I fight another one, and I keep staying healthy, keep with rehab and everything, all the way up through my fights. Then I fight this one, I win. I fight the next one, I win, and then I'm in the line for the title. And that's ideally how I see my next year going, 2021.
Yeah, because you obviously are still ranked 10th. So obviously, are you a bit disappointed it isn't against a ranked girl?
Honestly, I've thought about the rankings a lot, and yes, when I look at the rankings, I love to see the number next to my name. And if I didn't see a number next to my name, I would be I would probably be back in the gym like right then. I'd be like, all right, I gotta go work out, I gotta go train, because I'm not number 1, and I still feel that way for me. But at the same time, I feel like the rankings are almost I can't say they're irrelevant, but to me, it's like if you're consistent and you're consistent with fighting, even if you're not ranked, you're going to be noticed. You're going to have people paying attention to you. So more than the number, I want to keep building my career, and I want to keep building the wins. I want to keep building my talent and my skill. So if it's fight this fight against an unranked opponent versus wait another 4 months and then fight a ranked opponent, I'd rather just fight twice, because I want to stay in people's faces. I want people to continue on through the journey. I don't want to make them wait and have to make them wait forever to see me fight. So I'm happy with it, you know, and she's tough. She's a great fighter, and she's got a big following behind her, so why not? I'd rather fight someone with a huge following than a number next to their name, you know?
How do you kind of see this next year come for you? Because I kind of see it where if you go beat Grosso, I think a top 10 girl next, probably in the summer. End of the year, I wouldn't be surprised you're fighting November, December, the number one contender fighting early 2022. You get a title shot if you go 3-0 next year.
Let's do it. I'm in. I like your plan. Let's go.
Yeah. Is that kind of how
nothing to add to that?
Is that like, do you think that's kind of the time frame late this year, early next year is when you'd probably get that title shot?
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan, you know, for this last year and for this year, you know, even Dana said it. He said that December I would have a title shot had I won that fight or a contender fight, had I won that last fight, and stuff happens, you know? But I definitely see that. There's no difference in that this year, you know. Why not this year? This coming year is perfect. There's nothing changed about that. That's still the plan, the goal, and that's what's gonna happen. So yeah.
There's been a lot of talk of Shevchenko going up to bantamweight. Do you hope she stays at 125 until you get that title shot? Because it obviously means a lot more winning the title over her than winning like a vacant title or something like that.
You know, I can say what I want to say, whether I want Valentina to stay at 125 and fight her, or whether I want her to fight at 135. Obviously, yes, she's a dominant champion, and I would love to win the title against her, you know, and show that I'm a fighter that belongs in the cage with her. However, that is not in my control, and Valentina is going to do what Valentina needs to do for her own career and her own life. And what she chooses to do, whether that's move up to 135 or whether that's stay where she wants to stay, she's dominant, you know, why not? If she wants to go up to 135, let her. If she wants to be a double champ, let her, you know. That's not up to me. So I'm gonna continue to focus on me and getting better, so that if Valentina is at the title, then I'm ready to take it.
Just last couple of things, Maycee. Your old coach Ben Askren is getting called out by Jake Paul, and he seems to be into that. What do you make of that whole thing?
To be honest, I haven't been following close enough on social media. I've heard stuff. The ESPN has been notifying my phone. I think if, you know, it's entertaining. You know, who doesn't want it? They're both characters, and if it's a grudge match, then I'd love to see that. You know, I think it'd be funny and entertaining. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Do you think we'll ever see Ben fight again? Because he retires, but he's always saying like, "Oh, I'd fight this person, I'd fight that person." Like, it seems like he's not like fully out of the game yet.
I think that Ben, for the right fight, for the right kind of like build up, and I'd say like, you know, WWE or super fight boxing match, I think you'll see some of those maybe. I don't think you'll see him return to the octagon. I don't think that that's, you know, what he has planned for him. I'll have to ask him and let you know.
All right, well, Maycee, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for your time.